All right, so let's go over how to build these pylon panels. So we've got 3 pylon panels. Jim kind of made up this sketch for reference earlier, so I'm just using it as a way to number. So this is how it's going to look. So you got date palm here, you got Highway 111. So we just break it down by panel 1, panel 2, and panel 3. Panel 2 is kind of the hero panel. It'll be sort of out where everyone sees it. Panel 1 will be obscured over here by a wall. The wall comes up right about there. And then same thing with panel 3. In order to get inside the entire sign, basically you have to come through one of the panels. So we chose on the date palm side to have that panel here. So that means that 1 and 2 are essentially identical. 3 is very, very similar, except the framing is going to be different here to have a removable panel to crawl in. And crawling in through here is how we're going to get inside if we need to service anything, screens or anything. So essentially that's how that looks. So that's how it breaks down. So I went ahead and just used this to identify the panels. Because there's going to be so many parts, it's easier to just keep it broken down into each panel by number, even though 1 and 2 are basically identical. And the way they mount to the poles is identical as well. So anyway, so I have it broken down like so. You've got panel 1, you've got panel 2, and then you've got panel 3. And again, 3 is because it has the little access door. So you've got all your parts here. So I've got panel 1, frame pieces, panel 2, panel 3 frame pieces. You've got your faces, 1, 2, and 3. All your jigs, got it all laid out here because there's so many of them, so just have it all laid out. Again, because just to make it easier to make sure you have everything, I went ahead and just labeled them 1, 2, and 3, even though most all the jigs are identical. Most, I say. These are your 1/4-inch jigs. I'll go over that. Some on the back side, we're going to have 1/4-inch plate. And these are going to be sort of your lift points, and also where you're going to have tube framing running through to give structure. So we'll go over that. So look for those though on the 1/4-inch. And then you have 1/4-inch brackets. So these will be how they mount to the poles. We'll go over that. And we're going to have Mark IV double power boxes around the back, but it's going to have a pylon modification. So it's just going to have a straight plate on the back. So this thing will mount to the frame. But otherwise, that's just like what we make. Those are our Mark IVs. 063 white on white LED panels, those mount to the back frame. And we went through, Jim wanted to do push throughs, so it's going to be just like the monument signs. So whatever you do for the monument signs, that's what you're going to do for this. So you have 3/8 clear acrylic being stuck to 3/4-inch clear acrylic. And so that's all the files you got. So this is kind of how it breaks down. So again, we have panel 1, panel 2, panel 3. Panel 1 and panel 2 are identical. You got the framing. Framing's 5 inches deep. Each of these whole panels will be welded as one piece, skinned as one piece, and then they will be lifted and bolted to points that are going to be welded to the steel poles. And again, like I say, you're going to weld together these little bad boys here. There's going to be some angle pieces. These get 1/2 inch through bolted directly to the back of the panel. We will not be welding nuts to anything. I figured 16 nuts times 3 would be a lot of welding of 1/2 inch nuts. So I think it'll be easier. Plus it'll give us maximum through or adjustability. So you're just going to use 1/2 inch through bolts, nuts, washers, all that. Okay, so the way the structure works is really there's only frame pieces in 090 where we needed to put seams for skins. So you can see where the skins are laid out here. There's a kind of quite a jigsaw puzzle in order to make all these fit onto a sheet because this thing's so big. Anyway, but the fact that there isn't a whole lot of framing, I went ahead and transferred that duty over to 2x2x8. So you have 3 horizontal braces and you have 2 vertical braces. The 2 verticals are doing all the work, and the 3 horizontals that cross, you'll see where at these points here, they will cross over the verticals just like that. You'll have the verticals and the horizontals, and you're going to go ahead and burn those real good. Where each plate or where each post meets up, you're going to have a plate that you're going to make sure you burn it real well to the sides and you're going to burn it to the sides, and make sure you burn that to that plate. So this plate will transfer stresses from the entire frame through to the tubing, and then the tubing is going to cross over these back areas here, and I'll go over these right now. So like the monument sign, this is asymmetrical, so you're going to have a front side that's different than the back side. So the front side is all 090 jigs. So you come down here, so like the front, you're going to have all 090 jigs in the corners, everything. On the back side, where the poles run through and where these mounting plates are going to mount to the steel poles, I wanted some structure there. So the jigs are replaced with 1/4 inch, and that's on the bottom and on the top. So the top jigs go all the way across and then go up and replace the 090 corner jig with 1/4 inch on the back. So you're going to make sure you want to burn this real good, and you're going to want to burn it right here real good. And then you can see where on these jigs you'll have an outside reference kiss. That is where the 2x2 is going to run across. So you should expect to see where the 2x2 goes across there, and you're going to just fully burn that to that 1/4 inch. So you can see here where this 1/4 inch piece is going to replace these jigs on the back side, and you're going to go ahead and burn that real good to the framing, burn it real good over here, and that's going to pick up all the stresses from the frame and transfer it through here to the steel poles. Same thing on the back here. So you can see where you'll have a 6-inch piece here to burn, and then it'll go across. You'll burn that real good to the vertical tube, and then once it comes over here, it's replacing this 09 on the back side, and you're going to want to make sure that you burn it real good. Obviously, you don't need to burn the whole thing, but you want to make sure you get this really well attached to the corner piece and all that. Now, your lift points are going to be on the 2 outside top pieces of this tubing here. So you're going to have the same thing going on here as far as, oops, wait, that's up here. I'm on the wrong one. There it is. Yeah, there you go. So you'll see here where you'll have this little notch, and that's this guy here. So you're going to have this piece of 1/4 inch, and it's going to slot right in like the monument signs. It's going to want to slot into the back jig and the front jig. So you're going to want to burn that all the way to the back jig. So you got 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch, and then on the front jig you want to burn that 1/4 inch to the 09 jig. It's going to slot right in there, and you might want to throw some little burns around here to just get this attached to the skin, and throw a little bit on the bottom here, get that attached real good. And then what that's going to do is you're going to have a 5/8 lift. You're just going to through eye bolt it. We're not going to weld a nut or anything, and you're just going to put that through there, bolt it on real good. And then that's going to transfer your lifting loads through this tube, you know, weld that real good. This is going to put a lot of weird physics to this, because having this stretched so far apart, these lift points are going to have to go up pretty high. But you're only going to have 1.5 inches clearance from the top of this to the bottom of the TV screens. So if the TV screens are already in place, we don't have any way of lifting it from the top. So the lift points are gonna have to come from the side. So it's not ideal on something this wide to be lifting it, you know, from that, but that's the only way we can do it. Or if we need to take these off for any reason, somebody hits it, and the TV screens are in the way, we need to be able to, you know, access this thing and pull it off. So that's where your lift points are gonna be, is way over here on the sides. So again, make sure you'll see where the jigs have lock-in points here, and they have lock-in points here. So you want to make sure you burn it like you did with the lift points on the other one. Same thing here, we got lock-in points on the bottom, and that will be for these plates here. So you have a plate there, and so you want to lock in that's 1/4 inch, and that will be the receiver for the 1/8 inch here. Now you'll see where the 1/8 inch wall 2x2s here, you got 3 horizontals, 2 verticals. Try to cut them as accurate as you can to this, because there's not a whole lot of room to play with. So these will bottom out on the bottom, and they'll just clear on the top, so they don't actually, you know, push against the 09. But that way they can be nestled into that plate, and you can burn it real well. I would suggest, because you're gonna have to slide these in, so you're gonna do a skewer thing. So I imagine what you want to do is build the framing, internal framing, and put one side on and another side on. Leave this side off, leave this side off, and you're going to cleco in all your plates, and then skewer through everything skewer through all of your 2x, and then bring in this one and bring in this one, and then nestle it in, and it should lock into these plates just right. And then that way, and then kind of center the tubes, kind of center them up so that way they kind of float in between the plates, and then you can go ahead and tack it and burn it up real good once you have it on. So like I say, you're going to do, do a side and do a side, and then build all your framing and slide it through. As far as 1/4-inch plate goes, just so you know, all your 090 jigs are 165 Clecos, but for all the 1/4-inch, in order to get some faster routing, I did 193 holes. So that's on all of these 1/4-inch jigs, even these little guys here. On the back side, you'll see it's different. So you'll have 0.19s for all of that, and all of these plates. So you have these 3 plates here. You got that plate, that plate, that plate. So you have 3 side plates per side, and then you have 2 bottom plates, and you have 2 top plates. All of those require 193s. So I would suggest, MSC has them, McMaster doesn't have these extended ones that go longer. So get the 0 to 1/2 inch, get yourself some more 3/16 number 10s. Because that way you can assemble this whole thing all at once and hold it together, because I don't know how many of those you have. So use this as an opportunity to get yourself a bunch more, so that way you can get all these jigs in, because you can see where the blue is on the back side, where the red is on the front side. So you just go ahead and get that handled as far as getting those jigs, or Clecos for those jigs. Now the LEDs, the way this thing lights up, we're just going to have the 063 white on white for these 4 chambers, so the 36 chambers. What we're going to do is just put this on the back side. So we're just going to use the Cleco holes, and then those will line up with some number 10s. So go ahead and just do your LEDs, put them around here, put your LEDs, just like you do for the monument signs. It's all the same. And then collect your leashes. So this guy will have a leash, all these guys will have a leash. The leashes will collect through these holes here. So you'll have these 2-inch holes, collect it through, collect this through, and then once it's through here, you're going to have these 4 spots here to bang in more of these guys right here. And then you're going to bring each of those, so use gray wire, use the gray wire for outdoor, and run that gray cable out and let it collect down here into this area, and this will be where you'll bring the 4 and bring it into the side of the Mark IV here. Now this will get put on towards the back side, and then that corresponds with holes in the frame. That's what I'm saying is it's our normal Mark IV, except instead of these two little plates here, you're going to go ahead and rivet on this in complete back piece that will hold it on there. But otherwise, all of these parts, this is just a Mark IV. So that's that. So you're going to run, collect everything down there. Install will run their primary to the back. Like I said, all of the back of this is open, so you're only skinning the face of this thing. That's why these jigs are so robust, is because there's not going to be a back skin to give us rigidity and strength. Make sure that you use these as an opportunity to make sure you get good welds, and make sure all of these brackets and stuff are really welded up, really strong, because we're going to need it because it's so big, and the way we're lifting it from so far across. So yeah, just make sure everything's all welded up good. You'll see where everything's labeled, so I'll go over the labeling here. Everything is labeled. You got the left side, so it's labeled left. You'll have your number 1, so you'll have a number 1 on every piece, even the jigs. It'll just be easier that way, so you can just pile up all your 1s, pile up all your 2s, just make it easier that way. And then I have everything labeled by letter as far as what each frame piece is. So you got, A, B, C, just look for all your letters. Just so you don't get confused, I put this note up here. There is no letter F for an actual part number, because F is face. So anything with an F on it is the face side. So just so you make sure you don't get everything's backwards, make sure everything's facing the right way. And then I didn't use T, L, or I, so you won't be missing these if you don't find them. So T could be top, L could be left, and I could be mistaken for a number 1. So I omitted those. So S goes directly to U. So there's a part there, and there is no L. So don't think we missed it. Just use these as your guide for labeling and figuring out all the parts. And I just want to go over the panel 3. So the difference is we're just going to be omitting this frame piece right across here because this is going to allow us to crawl through. And this particular panel is going to be removable. So you're not going to, obviously you're not going to Lords that on. So here's your panels here. So like I say, this here will be clearanced. You probably want to do countersunk screws, try to make it look as sexy as possible. It's kind of a concession that we have to have this and have the seams. Otherwise, we'd like to have it all nice and clean. So really, that's the only difference with 3 is you're not going to have, like this jig is different here, and then there's no frame piece. You're going to be missing a frame piece on S. There is no S frame piece right there. And oh, another note bringing up S. I know it's trying not to confuse the different pieces using different letters, but S on these plates here means side. That's all. So S is for side, and B is for bottom. Or top actually, either way. So just the B's are for the top and bottom, and S is for side. So on these 1/4" pieces. So don't get that confused with the part S or the part B here. So just S is for sides on the little 1/4" weld-in plates. Just that's it for that for number 3. But otherwise, I think that should do it. You got Lords in braces there. Just put all your pieces together. You already got all that. But I think that's pretty much it. Should be good. If you have any questions, hit me up.